Good morning. This is Don with Maranatha Adventures. And my wife, Sally, she's back. She got over the creeping crud.
Morning.
So, this video here is going to be on some upgrades I've done on the interior of the camper. When you think you have these things done, you don't. There's always something that needs to be changed. Anyways, this is what this video is about. A couple upgrades I made on the interior of the camper. And we'll get back at you here in a little bit as soon as we switch out from the tripod to a selfie stick. Stay tuned. All right, we're back. Anyways, one of the upgrades I did in the camper is the netting on the shelf. I made two other attempts prior throughout the years of trying to find a good setup for netting that we can keep our gear up there, such as clothing, hygiene bag, towels, slippers, our weather radio, our 7-inch Hella fan. But everything that I was doing it didn't look good, and it served good, but it just didn't aesthetically look good. So what I came up with, and I finally found on the internet, is the Bungee net, mesh net that I'm using is actually designed for a Ranger bass boat cargo net. It's 68 inches long, 8 inches tall, and it's bungeed on top and bottom. And I purchased this online from a company called Great Lake Skipper. I will post all these items in the comment sections of below the video. And I was really amazed by how well it fits in there. This camper is 6 foot wide. So roughly it's about 1.5 inches narrower on the inside. So it worked out real well. The how I have it connected on the bottom, these clips down below are a cargo net mount for trunks. They make them with a single hook and a dual hook. I got the single hook, and they work perfect. They have a nice clean look to them. And I will also post where I purchased all these items from. The upper part is I was trying to figure out how to try to connect the upper part so you could, take it down and raise it back up. When you get items towards the end here, it's the nice thing about it, you can pull it down and get stuff, in the center. And I tried carabiners and that didn't work because it was too much of a hassle trying to maneuver that hook around. And then it dawned on me in the middle of the night. And it was a 2-inch gate latch hook with an eye that you find in your regular gate on yard gate. It's 2 inches long. And what it did, it came with an eye screw at the end. And all I did is I removed the eye screw. And then I sandblasted it and painted it black. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how it's all connected. If you notice behind the eye of the hook going to the bungee net is I purchased this. They come in a 2-piece setup. It's called a double open snap hooks. And what I did is I didn't use this part, but I used this part. And the neat thing about this is It's set up like a carabiner. So it has a point where you just and it was perfect. So the hook wasn't in a bind. The hook was still running perpendicular up and down, where this axis is kind of like a swivel. But anyways, I'll post all these parts too in the comment section below. The other upgrade I'd done is I was never really happy with what I had here. I originally started off with two 12-volt outlets. And then I decided, I like to check the battery level from the inside instead of getting out and open up the tongue box. So I ordered through the same company a switch and a voltmeter in hopes that the bezels that hold the meter and the light switch would come in the same configuration and everything, and they didn't. I guess the company gets them through another outlet. It looked funky. I just didn't like it. So what I'd done was I purchased some 12-inch by 2-inch by 2-inch aluminum angle metal. And then I used my horizontal bandsaw to cut it to size that I needed. I also ordered through a company called Nightlight, which I have their rock lights underneath the camper, a 4-in-1 panel with a switch, voltmeter, and two 12-volt socket outlets. In the shop, I already had some 832 machine screws with flat washers, lock washers, and nuts. And I already have the Automotive Paint and Primer and Clear Coat, because everything I spray on this camper in black is uniformed in the same exact color and product line that I use throughout the camper, so it's consistently the same color black. But anyways, what I've done with the sheet metal, and I'll post all the pictures of the steps I did, is I cut it to size, and then I used a step bit, and then I drilled the hole sizes, 4 hole sizes that I needed. And then I used a horizontal belt sander on a bench and rounded off the edges so nobody would injure themselves on a sharp 45 corner. And then I deburred everything, and then I took it and put it in a cabinet media blaster and sandblasted all of it. And then I primed it, 3 coats of black, 2 coats of clear satin finish in a hot rod clear. And now I am totally acceptable and happy with how all this turns out. Can I see that, Sally, that camera?
Sure can.
So anyways, as you see here, hit the switch, and then voltmeter comes. And anyways, I am totally happy with how this all came out. 2 sockets, it's whether we want to charge our phones, drone batteries, wireless mic, or run our 7-inch Hella fan during the nights. Anyways, I am really happy about how that all came out. Real nice, clean look. This is what I've been looking for. Unfortunately, it took me about 7 years to come up with this finally. But otherwise, I can't complain about it. It's just, I am totally happy about how it all came out. But anyways, I'll post all these items. How you doing, Sally?
Fine.
What I'll do is I'll post all these items. You can actually see what I had here before in our fourth video called our Highly Modified Runaway Camper at the 26-minute mark. It'll show what the old netting was and what I had here, and then you can see the difference in the two. Anyways, the last thing I want to talk about is what the devotional is about. It is very close to my heart on this. I have two good friends of mine that are battling and fighting cancer right now. I'm not going to get into the stages or who they are, where they're from, but they've been friends. I've been friends with them for many years. And this devotional, especially the Bible verse in it, in 1 Peter, it carried me through my times when I was battling cancer. And this video is not necessarily just focusing on battling cancer. It's about the things that we battle with in our lives and in our heads at times, whether it's intrusive thoughts or whatever life stresses and anxieties and are thrown into our heads. And sometimes we run off in a panic, not even thinking clearly. My story about my cancer and how I found out when I got cancer and everything is in our 9th video. It's at the 9-minute mark. It's in the video called Thanksgiving on Merrill Ridge in the Ozarks. And it's at the 9-minute mark. I encourage you to listen to it because it has a lot of gratitude and thankfulness in it. And that's what we need in our life, is positive, not negative. So anyways, I appreciate everybody watching the videos that we've made. I appreciate all the subscribers, all the ones that continuously follow and view us, even the new ones. I appreciate the comments. Like and share and subscribe our channel. I have a really good devotional at the end of this video. We'll see you in the next one. God bless you. This devotion is coming out of the New Testament, 1 Peter chapter 5, verse 7. Casting all your anxieties on him because he cares for you. When I think about this verse, the quote, "Cast your cares on God, that anchor hold," comes to my mind. God tells us in his word that he hears our cries, that he will rescue us from our troubles. God calls us to live a life of trusting him, that he is our comforter, our refuge and strength. What Apostle Peter is telling us is to humble ourselves, that if we continue our worries, it will stop us dead in our tracks in our walk in faith. Satan wants you to live in fear. Fear spreads in an unrenewed mind. The devil knows the mind's weaknesses, and he uses it to influence fear and doubt. What Apostle Peter is also saying is to cast those anxieties on God. I'm saying to lift those worries before God in prayer with truth and humility. Humility is surrendering, and surrender is faith, which gives us victory over fear, and faith banishes fear. This verse is all about trusting God wholeheartedly. Here's something to think about. This verse also challenges us to examine our response when times of difficulties come. Do we turn inward, relying on our own strength and understanding when these challenges come? Or do we turn upward, acknowledging the need for God's dependency? The truth is, it's about recognizing our Heavenly Father is not distant in our lives, that He truly cares about our concerns, no matter how big or small they are. It requires us to humble ourselves by putting our lives in God's hands and trusting Him, even to the point we have no understanding of the outcome. It's like a trust we have getting into someone else's vehicle, knowing they are driving. God knows how to drive, and He knows the direction to get us where we need to be. When we start casting our worries to God, we feel a lightness in ourselves, a sense of peace. It's a conscious, deliberate decision, choosing to let go of control and allowing God to be God. Life is a journey, a process, but as believers, it's a daily practice of faith and trust. It's choosing to believe in God's goodness, His promises, His love, even in the midst of our own difficulties. And when we do this, we will find a deep, lasting peace that surpasses all understanding. I hope somebody gets something out of this devotion. I really do. Give God the time He deserves. God bless.